Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Unconditional Life. I'm John.
I'm Johnny.
How's everybody doing? Hopefully you're getting ready for Halloween.
I'm doing good.
Good deal.
I'm
Good deal.
excited. My kids are excited.
I love that.
Yeah, Halloween's good. We like it.
I actually really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite holidays just because it's a free-for-all. You don't have to.
I know, there's like no organization.
There's no organization.
No rhyme or reason, just whatever.
Yeah, however you roll.
Yeah.
Anyway, we want to talk to you today a little bit about the possibility or the potentiality of coming from love in all your responses in your life. I know that could sound like a really tall order, but both of us believe this with all of our hearts. If you respond from love more than you don't, you'll have a winning ticket. Is that what it's called? If you
That's what we're going to call it today, and I like it.
Because you will hit more wins when you respond from love than any other place. I learned once from a trainer, a coach and mentor friend, that there's only really two responses in the world. You can either respond from the theater of love where you're empowered and encouraged and in the flow, or you can respond from the theater of fear where you're shrinking and you're disempowered and you're responsive or you're reactive instead of responsive. Yep. Where you're a victim, you're helpless to circumstance. Or you can respond from a loving place and then you're empowered. And I would pose to you that it does take discipline, but I think it's possible to respond more from love than from any other place. And I would pose the belief that if we could, as a people, create this as a culture, we literally could change the world with one simple decision and shift in humanity. And all that shift would be, is this a loving response? That's it.
Yeah.
Just ask yourself that question. Is this a loving response?
Yeah. Now, it starts there. One thing, so it may sound overwhelming as I stutter. It may sound overwhelming at first, like, how am I supposed to sit there and choose love every single time? It's not as complicated as you think. It starts with the awareness that you have a choice.
Amen.
You have to realize that everything you do every day, John, even sitting here right now, every time I shift my eyes, move my hands, say a word, I am choosing everything I am doing. When you start realizing that everything you do in life is a choice, then you start realizing, okay, I am in control of my actions. That's step one. And then you don't have to start immediately going, everything's got to be loving. If you could do that successfully, awesome. But at least from personal experience, that's not how it's working for me. And even right now, it's not how it's working for me, even though I know that's kind of the ticket. Because my conditioning that we're trying to break free of still grabs me sometimes, We're trying to be unconditional here, but sometimes those conditions are hard to rip. But when you realize that you're in choice about everything you do in your life, all you have to do is just start catching yourself once in a while. Every once in a while, allow the thought, that could have been more loving, or that could have been better. And at first it may be you looking back at the thing you just did. But then you start to notice as you start to realize these things, that thought will start happening before you decide to do things. So it switches. And that's what I'm starting to know. That's where I'm at right now. I still don't do the loving thing every single time. I hope to. I try to. That's where I try to end up. But right now I'm at the point where I'm at least realizing I have the choice before I make the choice to do it lovingly or with fear. And so that's where I'm at. It's fun. I'm seeing a lot of differences in my life, a lot of different reactions that people are, coming to the table with now, or that I'm perceiving differently. Maybe it's that. But yeah, it starts by realizing you have a choice, allowing yourself to look back on what you just didn't realize, and not judging, not being like,
don't beat yourself up about it.
Never. But just say, hey, that was a fearful choice and not a loving one. Once you start doing that, you're on the right track. It's not going to be long before you start doing that before you actually make the choice.
Yep, absolutely. I actually think that one of the I actually am at a place in my life where I finally realized I got a few less Saturdays ahead of me than I have behind me. And so
you're going to live forever, John.
I'm really looking at the quality of who I bring to those Saturdays from me. Not who I invite to spend them with me.
I like that, yeah.
But the quality of the man I bring to the table moving forward. And so I spend a lot of time in introspection without judgment. without, oh, that was so stupid. You could have done this with Johnny, or you could have done that. But I try and spend a couple minutes in the evening just evaluating, so that the next time something comes, no matter how good you are, we are different people. My wife will be thinking this, I'll be thinking that. It's easy to get sideways quick. It's also easy to go, hey, could that have been a more loving exchange? Without I did anything wrong. Typically, I believe we all do the best we can most of the time. So why would you judge yourself for, all you got's the best you got, right?
All you can do is the best you can.
It's so easy to look at that and say, oh, that poor girl, but she's giving it all she's got. And then you go look in the mirror and you go, you worthless, holy cow, I can't believe you. Oh, wait a minute, maybe you're giving it all you got. So I just, and it's not about today being loving every minute. It's about just the awareness. I didn't get sober overnight, just like I didn't get addicted overnight. We are addicted to negativity. We are addicted to the constant negative news. We are addicted to the bad shit in the world. And it's sad to me, but it's there's a shock value to it. You think about, a school bus was kidnapped and like there's that, oh my gosh. But if you get on the news and you say, yesterday 3 Boy Scouts walked an old lady across the street, people go, oh, well, they're supposed to do that.
Change eternal.
And so, because we're positively inclined, it's the negative stuff that has a shock value.
Yeah.
And that doesn't serve us.
Yeah. No,
we actually operate better from a space of love and comfort and collaboration instead of competition.
Well, you just said something there that, ties into, we've talked about self-love before and self-forgiveness and stuff like that. But in order for this to really work, you really have to just be willing to not judge yourself, like we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the hardest part of this.
I would say that's the key.
People.
Well, removing as much judgment as possible from your experience.
Yeah.
From your experience, from why this person cut you off, from why your kid called you 5 times at 3 o'clock in the morning. Why does your spouse, why? Just unplug. It doesn't matter why.
Yeah.
Watch what's happening in the experience of life going on around you without this compass of right or wrong, good or bad. Just, oh, look. And again, they're probably doing the best they can.
Yeah. And that's one thing I learned a while ago, too. Everybody is doing the best they can given the way they see the world.
Yep.
There's no exceptions to that. I don't care who you want to put in your mind. I don't care what political leader you want to put in there, what religious group that you don't agree with, or whatever you want to call it, or the guy who bullied you at school. Everybody is trying to do the best they can given the way they see the world. People think different things are okay than other people.
And, I had an interesting statistic brought to my mind, and it's kind of dark, but it serves to point to my thing. Somebody taught me recently, I think it's my little brother, said, do you know there's 300 active serial killers in America? Projected 300 active serial killers.
They take a census?
I guarantee you that even though to you and me, it doesn't make sense what they're doing, to them somehow on some weird level it does. Or they wouldn't be doing it.
Correct.
And so the more judgment I remove from my experience, the more judgment I remove from me, so the more compassionate I am with me.
And that's the reason I'm laughing is because, and it's not really funny. It's just
funny.
It's funny to me because I've been thinking about this lately, and it's true. Most people think that if somebody does something bad, they know they're doing something bad while they're doing it.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
No, it's not
people.
true at all.
I mean, we may make wrong decisions and let our emotions get the better of us and sometimes do things that are out of character. But if we were in our right minds at the time, we probably wouldn't have made that decision. A lot of people think that we are choosing to be evil intentionally.
Yep.
Or people choose to do bad things that they know are bad up front intentionally.
Yep.
A lot of people are going to disagree with this too, and it's probably going to be a little controversial, but Hitler thought he was doing the world a favor.
I agree with that.
He absolutely thought He didn't know, I'm an evil man, I'm going to go make the world a bad place. He did bad things. Okay? But given the way he saw the world, it was his fix to eradicate a problem he thought existed on the planet. And 5 million other people went along with him and said, let's do it. You know what I mean? So it's
I totally understand
how
that.
crazy and wrong do you think you are if you've got to follow it like that? You know? Somebody on Twitter has 3 million followers that are like, yeah, you're great. I guarantee they're not going home thinking, what am I doing with my life? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's the way and that's part of the gift of the world, is that we all can see things so differently. That's why there's the different perceptions that exist are incredible. That's where brilliant things are discovered. But we gotta ease off on each other. We gotta realize that, and that maybe if we do that, it'll open up some room for us to be more loving toward people, realizing that they're not trying to do the most evil thing they can think of in the moment. They're trying to live their life. And based on their experiences, what they've been taught, what they've thought, they think that this is an appropriate reaction or response. So give people the benefit of the doubt.
Even if it doesn't make any sense to anybody else anywhere. I believe with all my heart that if you can remove judgment from your experience, I'll say it over and over and over again. Judgment of self, judgment, projection, judgment of shooting on other people. It is easier to come from a loving space because you're only focused on yourself. And at the end of the day, it's not my job to fix you. As a matter of fact, I'm getting in your way to even decide whether you need fixing or not. That's my projection of whatever. My job is to fix me if I'm broken. That's it. And then bring the best version of me to every exchange with another human. That's actually part of my mission statement as a person. So I just, as we're wrapping up, I don't think I feel it, I know it. If you respond more from love than you do from fear, your life will be more effective. You will be happier. Things will work better for you. And it will work for the world around you.
Well,
that's my view from here.
I think that's how karma works. Whatever you put out into life, you're going to get back. That's how high vibration works. It's the rule of the way things are. But yeah, that's pretty good place to wrap up, I think.
We love you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for hanging with us. Have a beautiful day.